So the concept of love affords choice. Um, Somebody asked in the under Paul's transformation model, can you point me to a video or a document where you derive this idea that charity is the affordance of choice? So now when we use the word charity, we're going to use the words charity, agape, and love interchangeably. Agape is one of the Greek words for love, the selfless kind of love, what they call the godly love, right? And it gets translated as charity in the Bible. And love, charity, agape, you may hear me use those three words interchangeably for the purposes of this video. Now, somebody else texted me and they said, I have a hard time understanding what you're trying to convey when you explain that love affords more choices. You could argue that when Satan tempts Eve, he afforded additional choices and she did not have before. Or when a husband provoked anger in his kids, he's affording them a choice to sin. Okay. So, what I want to do is clarify today exactly what we are talking about when we say love is the affordance of choice. Okay. So, we're working with a few statements here: love, the affordance of choice, love, that which enables choice, uh, that which results in increased generalized optionality. And that might help a little bit better. You say, Kevin, where did you get this? The first place we hear this phrase on from Beyond the Fundamentals and the sources that we look at is from a guy named Forrest Landry. He's real famous for saying love is that which enables choice, and he's also worded it as love is that which affords choice, and that tends to be the version of it that we say most often on the channel. Don't know why, no particular reason for it, just the way it is. So when we say that love is that which enables choice, we're not trying to give you a definition of love that nothing can ever alter from it and you must dogmatically and rigidly adhere to this, and every time you see the word love, you must use this definition. It's not how we work at Beyond the Fundamentals, okay? And if you've come from a fundamentalist Christian background, when things get defined, they're defined in a way that's implied. You must take that definition dogmatically into every other arena in which the word is used. We don't operate that way. So some people will define the word love differently, and that's fine. Love is kind of like wisdom, where there might be multiple different good definitions, and maybe none of them is fully complete, but it seems that this one is the one that resonates the most with me, okay? And with a lot of people in our little circle here. Orion Taraban defines the word love as the humiliated self-exalted. And I don't disagree with that as being and he uses Jesus Christ on the cross as an example of that. And so I don't disagree with that at all. But I do think that love is the humiliated self-exalted in a way that results in the affordance of choice. Does that make sense? So we'll further on with that. I'm just trying to get you to understand what I'm saying when I use this phrase. I'm not trying to convince you, not trying to persuade you, just trying to give you another thing to hold out there, um, in the margin of confidence arena, in possibility space to toy with and to play with. Okay. If you look in the Bible, Jesus says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And then he says in John 10:9-10, I am the door. So there you have the humiliated self-exalted. Jesus laying down his life for his friends. He said, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. I would argue that Jesus gives his life for the sheep, lays down his life for his friends, so that they might have life more abundantly, which is the affordance of choice. Tracking so far? Now, when we're dealing with the word love, love does not equal relationship, and relationship does not equal love. Oftentimes, you'll hear people say, oh, I'm in a relationship with this person, I love them. Well, relationship is it's a medium where people exchange similar goods of unequal value, something like that. Similar but unequal value. You say, well, that sounds transactional. Relationships are transactional. Okay. So maybe you're exchanging intangibles such as companionship and loyalty and honesty and commitment, but you are still transacting something. We have more videos on that. This is not the place or time to disagree or to argue about it because we've already established this. Jesus says, love your enemies. You're not exactly in relationship with your enemies, but you can operate with your enemies. You can interact with them. You can interact with them in a way that extends a golden bridge and offers an affordance of choice for them to lay off the enmity. Okay. So when we talk about affordance of choice, we are not talking about like menu options. We're not talking about offering you different things. Here, I can either give you the steak or the chicken or the fish. That's not what we're talking about. It's not the offering of specific menu items. Okay. Um, for example, if you look at somebody who's, let's say they won a trip on a game show, they're being offered this one thing, go to this one trip, this one thing. That's not really what we're talking about when we say the affordance of choice. Having a passport, on the other hand, is the affordance of choice. It's a preliminary precondition that enables other choices to be made, if that makes sense. So we want to talk about the distinction briefly, and this is intended to be a short video. Okay. So listen fast. We're going to talk about the distinction between being offered, the difference between being offered a specific opportunity, like somebody tempting somebody to sin, a specific temptation, and increasing one's general optionality or affordance of choice. So, affordance of choice, we're talking about general optionality. We're not talking about giving them specific offerings like a menu option. Okay. Some people confuse affordance of choice with being tempted with a specific opportunity. Like a neurosurgeon saving someone's life, that does not offer the patient any particular temptation or opportunity. Let's say they're going to die in 6 days unless they have surgery. And so the neurosurgeon operates on them, saves their life. Now they're going to live another 60 years. Okay. Now, the neurosurgeon is not offering them any particular thing to do with those 60 years. He's not saying go climb Mount Fiji, but he's offering the affordance of choice that they now have more time before they die, ideally. Okay. It gives them time to live and increases the chances in general that they will be able to seize opportunities. Yes, I realize that I spelled that wrong. And when I fix it, I'm pretty sure it'll still be spelled wrong. To seize opportunities. I always forget whether the I or the E comes first, and I do know the rule. I before E except after C, or when sounding like A as in neighbor and way. Huh. To seize opportunities while not guaranteeing any particular one. Do not get hung up on my spelling. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay. So we're not talking about offering any particular opportunity or any particular set of opportunities. We're talking about setting the stage so that opportunities can be taken advantage of as they come. If you're a parent, you certainly understand this. So let's give some options here. Some options where this might be the case. I don't even know if you can see that much better if I do it that way. Maybe I can do it this way. You might consider love as the surface area of serendipity. Serendipity is the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. Love would be to make the occurrence of serendipity larger. Okay? Make it larger. Optionality increases the surface area of serendipity, so you're more likely to bump into good things, but you're not chasing any one thing in particular. Specific opportunities are nodes, not networks. They may close as easily as they open. So we're talking about the network of opportunities. We're not talking about any particular node of opportunity, not a particular opportunity. Being physically fit, for example, does not guarantee that you'll be invited on a hiking trip, but it means you could say yes if you are invited. Does that make sense? Love results in the increase of chances that you can take advantage of something, not necessarily in any particular event. It's not what we're talking about. I'll give you another example: a capability versus an invitation. Optionality is about capability, what you could do if presented with the chance. A specific opportunity is an invitation. It's someone saying, do this now. But so what we're talking about is more like this. The example, being fluent in French gives you optionality. You could move to France, you could work in translation or engage in diplomacy. A job offer in Paris is just one invitation among many. But if you speak French, you have increased your optionality. I know a family here, their daughter speaks Vietnamese and English, and they're teaching her Cantonese. So or Mandarin, I think. So if she is trilingual as she grows up and she's fluently trilingual from the time that she is a child, she will have increased optionality for opportunities as she gets older. So her parents are loving her by affording her more choices by having her educated in this way. Compound interest of choice. Optionality compounds over time. The more you develop it, the more doors you can open later. Specific opportunities are linear and limited. Specific ones are. Come to this podcast. Once they're gone, they may not return. So we're going to look at Matthew's principle here, where Jesus says, to him that hath shall more be given. Those who have will be given more. So the way this works, the more successful a surgeon is, the more people will desire his service. The more sought out he will be, and the more money he can charge for what he does. The more successful a podcaster, the more guest appearances will be offered. The more successful an actor or an actress, the more roles he or she will be offered. Okay, so you create affordance of choice for yourself by these things. Another way to look at this is that love, the affordance of choice, is kind of like infrastructure, the ability to go and do things, not necessarily hopping on the train to take any one particular trip, but the fact that the train and the plane and the automobile and the boat are all there and you can go in a great number of many places. That is the affordance of choice, not any particular opportunity. Optionality is infrastructure. It supports multiple possible futures. A specific opportunity is an event. It may come and go regardless of whether you are prepared. So what the idea is be as prepared as possible. Like having a degree, having an advanced degree gives you an opportunity to say yes to a lot more job offers. There's a lot of job offers that I look at when I'm doing my job searching sometimes. It just says must have XYZ experience and a bachelor's degree. Doesn't even care what the bachelor's degree is in. So just by having a bachelor's degree, I am afforded more and more choices of job opportunities that require a bachelor's degree. For example, learning coding is like infrastructure, but being offered a freelance job to build someone's app is a specific event. Okay. So knowing coding is the affordance of choice. And then you can take that option. So if you have increased optionality, for example, right? If you have increased optionality for, let's say, a lot of people of the opposite sex find you attractive, right? What that's going to mean is that you're going to have the entire spectrum available to you. There could be some really quality people available to you, and there could be some really bad opportunities available to you. You're still going to have the opportunity to say yes to some people who are not good for you at all. Okay. You'll have the freedom to say yes, like we talked about. Somebody asks you if you're physically fit, and somebody asks you to go hiking up the volcano. You'll have more of an optionality to say yes. Optionality means you have the freedom to say yes to a wide variety of things. A specific opportunity is just a test case. Will you say yes to this one thing? That's not what we're talking about when we say affordance of choice. We're talking about a broad optionality. Example, if you have money, time, and a passport, you can say yes to a sudden invitation to travel. Someone with no vacation time or expired ID, they can't, even if they are invited. They haven't afforded themselves that choice. Now I want to look at about 20 things, and I'm going to split them up. This is kind of small writing, so I'm going to split them up into 10 and 10 to make the font a little bit easier to see. So you could say that if you are physically fit, one way you could love yourself or love somebody else, to either become physically fit is a way to love yourself, or to help somebody else become physically fit is a way to love them. It increases your options. You have more careers available to you. You have more dating options. You have more leisure and recreational choices. You have a greater lifespan. You see, not any particular thing, but in general, a greater affordance of choice. If you learn multiple languages, you'll have access to a larger global job market, cross-cultural relationships. You'll travel easier. You'll have inside knowledge on other cultures. You can do translation work as a job. Building strong social networks, I call it networking, is a way to increase your optionality. You don't have any particular opportunity from any particular person, but the more people you know, maybe the more people where you'll be able to have a relationship where you're able to transact something worthwhile to both of you. Maintaining financial health and savings increases your options. You have the freedom to leave toxic jobs. You pursue education, to travel, invest, or take risks. It reduces dependence and increases negotiation leverage. Developing marketable skills increases your options for remote work, freelancing, startup ventures, consulting gigs, better job resilience, and changing economies. Practicing strategic minimalism, for example, can increase your options by having less debt, more mobility, fewer sunk costs. You can move, pivot, change lifestyles more easily. It's a way you can love your future self. When we talk about loving yourself on this channel, by the way, we have our second channel now, BTF Grow and Relate, and all of our growth and transformation stuff like this will soon all be over there. Okay, all the new stuff will be coming out there. So make sure you subscribe to that channel and stay tuned over there. Gaining citizenship or residency in multiple countries can increase your optionality. Building an online presence and a personal brand can attract job offers, partnerships, speaking gigs, creative collaborations, passive income streams. Being widely read across multiple disciplines can give you pattern recognition, cross-domain synthesis, problem-solving ability, becomes the person others come to for insight. Other people come to you asking questions. Hey, can you help me? Practice emotional regulation and conflict resolution. That increases your options because you can maintain access to important relationships, leadership roles, and complex social environments, and you're more likely to be trusted by other people. You could establish multiple income streams. This increases your optionality. With diversified financial base means that you have the freedom to walk away, to reinvest, to experiment. You're less vulnerable to economic shocks. You could learn how to learn. Meta learning increases your options because you can adapt quickly to new industries, software roles, and domains. Optionality within a fast-changing environment is very helpful to have. You can master public speaking and communication. You could build your reputation for reliability and integrity. You could cultivate mental health and resilience. Okay. You can sustain productivity under stress, remain creative and proactive in adversity, handle relationships better. You can volunteer and contribute to communities. You can be well traveled and culturally fluent. And then there's increased optionality when you do things like that. Understand systems thinking and strategic planning. You can anticipate second and third order effects, avoid traps, position yourself for emerging trends, document your life and work through journaling, portfolio blog. It helps with self-awareness, career clarity, track record for clients or employees, and future authorship and consulting opportunities. And you can help others achieve optionality, increasing your options, building loyalty, strong networks, and reciprocal opportunity. Become a node of value and trust, and people send opportunities your way. So when we talk about loving yourself, we're not talking about having an aggrandized ego where you just absolutely, head over heels in love with yourself. You got the big head, arrogant. We're not talking about that at all. We're talking about positioning yourself in such a way, like Jordan Peterson says, to take care of yourself as if you're someone responsible for taking care of. Position yourself in such a way that your future self has optionality afforded to him or her. So I want future Kevin to have optionality afforded to future Kevin. And it is my job now to love future Kevin by ensuring that there is affordance of choice or affordance of increased reciprocal opening optionality into the future for future Kevin to enjoy. So that's what when we talk about loving yourself, that's what we're talking about doing. And of course, if you love your kids, you want them to be educated, you want them to be fit, okay? You want them to be able to think. You want all these things for your kids. You want to afford choice. That's what love means. You want them to be able to leave your parentage and do well and succeed. That's what love is. We're going to end the video here. If you like what you're getting at Beyond the Fundamentals, we invite you to support the channel financially There are 5 different electronic ways to do this at beyondthefundamentals.com on the donate tab. So thanks to all who do that. Also, we offer one-on-one consultation sessions. These are paid consultation sessions. One of the ways we try to make a little bit of extra money here at Beyond the Fundamentals. And go to the homepage, scroll down to book a one-on-one consultation, and during your time, we can take all of the domains in which we've increased fluency on this channel over the years, and we can apply them to your situation. Okay, on these generalized videos, I can't. I literally can't speak to everyone's situation. But what we can do is we can create these one-on-one sessions. So that's one way to do that. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. May the Lord bless you and good day.